We're back again, and I got some work done today, so I thought I'd share what I did. So many of you guys know that we have a double-wide mobile home. It's kind of like an old modular, built like a mobile home. It's hard to tell, it's in between. Anyway, we have a marriage line, and that marriage line is basically where the two halves of our home come together. And in a previous video, I was showing the underside of our home, and showing how that center wall isn't really supported by anything. And I did mention that if I needed additional support, I could put some posts in. And some of you guys mentioned in the comments, why don't you? You're right. So I'm taking your advice. I should put the support in before I need it, so that I never do need it, basically. We laid tile on the floor, we put a lot of weight in this home, so we want to make sure our center wall doesn't sag. So I went ahead and picked up some jack posts. And they're basically these metal columns, and you might have seen them in your basement or crawl space, but it's a metal column, usually adjustable, and it has a like a threaded part that you can adjust on it. Picked up some blocks. We were at Home Depot. They actually didn't have the square blocks, so I picked up some pole barn biscuits. Never had those kind of biscuits before. They're basically like concrete blocks that are more round. And they're flat, but they have a lot higher strength. They have a lot higher compression strength, I think. And they're for going in the bottom of a hole in the ground where you put like a pole barn post, so that the post has something to sit on to give it a little more foot. Anyway, those are a little more expensive, but we grabbed them. So I did film a little bit of the process of putting the posts in. It was hard to film under the house because it's really dark, really dusty. And it's just hard to get a good shot of it, but I did my best. So I took the biscuits down in the crawl space and the posts with me and just started working. All I had to do was level a spot on the ground with the concrete block. And that was really easy because our ground is super dusty, fine soil.
Yeah, dry.
Our crawl space is always really dry, so we don't have any moisture problems under there.
Yeah, zero.
So just leveled the block. I didn't bother digging it down. This is just a mobile home, so it's not like super important, and the ground is steady. It's not going anywhere. So I put the block on the ground. Then I put the metal post on top of the block so that the threaded part was facing up. I just want to point out, in case you guys didn't know, I mean, read the box. The instructions will tell you. If you're supporting wood, which I'm doing, you want the threaded part facing down. So bear with me for a moment. I put the threaded part facing up so that I could kind of level it. And I just leveled the post by eye because I don't have a little level. I don't. And so I leveled it, and then I screwed the plate into the wood right on the marriage line. And after I got the plate screwed in, I turned the post around. So basically I was just putting it so that it could stand on its own, so I could level it. What's wrong?
I don't know.
What?
What?
Does that make sense? You look confused, that's why.
Yeah. I mean, are you going to show it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure it's easier when you're showing it.
So it was actually a pretty easy process, and then I just tightened it up with a crescent wrench, just screwing it in, extending the screw at the bottom. And it went pretty smoothly. I got 2 of those done about every 5 feet under the house. And then I got to the first steel support going across. For those, I actually bought some little tiny posts. I had to buy those posts special order, but they were like 12 to 15 inches is what they adjusted to. And in looking at it, it was actually too tall still, even though it was the shortest post I could buy. I tried putting it under there in different ways, and it didn't work, because I wanted to sit on the metal I-beam and then go underneath the house center wall. So what I ended up doing was taking it out to the barn, which is a big hassle. I just sit under the house dreading it, because I have to crawl all the way out and walk all the way back and
get dusty, more movement.
But anyway, got to the pole barn, and I tried cutting the post with a hacksaw, because I wanted to make a really square, straight cut through the post, because you don't want it to sit at an angle, so you have to have a really clean cut. I have a hacksaw, and I have a like a miter box, like a little plastic box for making straight cuts. I tried using that, and the saw just was not sharp enough. It was so slow doing it by hand. So I got my reciprocating saw, put a metal blade on it, and that just cuts through like butter. It's just fast. It worked great.
Good.
So I just cut it. I went back under the house and tried that one out, and it worked good. It fit perfectly. So I was really happy with that. Again, it's just putting it under there and tightening up the screw on it. I probably over tightened them. We shouldn't be lifting these floors because we have tile on them, so we don't really want to move them at all. But I was being a little daring, and I really tightened them down quite a bit. I try to tighten them until I hear a crack, and then I go, okay, that's enough. Because I kind of wanted to push the wall up as tight as I possibly could.
Did you hear a crack?
I just hear little cracks. If I hear like a little crack, I stop, because I say, okay, something moved. It was getting like so dusty down there that I just couldn't take it anymore. I had a mask on, but it's a really lousy mask and it doesn't work. And the dust down there irritates my throat so bad that I just couldn't take it anymore. So I just wanted to get the one more small post done. So I went out to the barn, cut that one again. This one didn't come out as good because my reciprocating saw blade like kind of went at an angle. So I had like an angle cut on it. So then I had to kind of keep hacking away at it to get it straight. But I did get it pretty straight. It just wasn't a clean cut.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah. And then what I did was, since I cut the metal, and especially since I kind of marred it all up, I did this on both posts. I went over and I dipped it in some old motor oil just to coat the steel so that it would last longer and not start rusting right away down there. It's still high and dry, but I just wanted to help prevent rust, so I figured oil doesn't hurt. So I dipped it in oil, brought it back under the house, crawled under there. and put it in place, jacked it up. Again, cranked it up pretty good. Came out awesome.
Good.
So I had to modify the 2 small jacks, but it was pretty easy. I don't know if I would recommend doing that. It probably voids things, but you have to make it work.
It's got to be better than not having them at all.
So right now, I didn't finish all the jack posts, but I have the 2 small ones and then 2 full-size, they're 3-foot tall ones. And now I have 4 more to do. I got 2 in the middle section of the house and 2 in the last. And then we'll be done. And I probably won't film those, and I probably won't even talk about them because honestly, it was just so dusty down there. It was terrible. I had to really scrub down the camera when I came in, and it was just, everything was covered. So I try not to film down there too often if I don't need to. But just wanted to walk you guys through it. Maybe that'll help somebody who has to jack up their house. It's pretty easy. You might need a better footing depending on the ground. If your ground is wet or gets wet, it's going to shift a lot more than ours does.
I'm glad we don't have to deal with that problem.
Ours is pretty packed sand. It's a loamy sand soil, and it's just very hard though, and doesn't seem to move. And now I feel super confident that our roof with the snow loads and our tile floor and eventually our living room wall, which we still have to finish, all that weight will be well supported by foundation and multiple supports all the way down. And that's going to make the house a lot more solid. Yeah, so what I was saying was, if you're doing it on wood, put the jacks upside down from what you would think they'd be, so that the screw part is on the bottom on the concrete, and then the top is against the wood, because that way the wood has a wider support pushing into it. Because wood has a tendency to dent, and if you have the screw part facing up, that center can kind of bend the metal up, and it's a very small pressure point on the wood. But if you're supporting metal, then you can put it the other way so that the point is up. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
And no other tips. I'm not a pro at jacking up houses or anything. It's just, we just wanted to support it. I don't want to push it too far, like I said, but I might give them a couple extra cranks after a couple weeks.
Yeah. Just
try to really push them. Yeah, making progress. No matter how small, we made progress. Trying to do what we can each day.
We've had those sitting around for weeks, so...
Yeah. Going into the house is one of those things that I put off and avoid, so it was good to get it done. I still have a couple more jobs I got to do under there, but we'll get to it. I also, now that the snow melted, have this huge pile of trash outside the door that needs to be cleaned up. Because I cleaned out the crawl space. It still needs a little bit of cleaning, but we had so much junk under there just from previous owners, like hay and carpet and junk and old wires that we pulled out and just a lot of stuff. And I just shoved it out the door, and the snow's been covering it nice. But now that the snow is melting, our backyard looks like a wreck. So I got to get that cleaned up.
And we'll be getting a dumpster soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
And we're ready to do the siding and the windows.
So we're going to end it here. Another short video, but like I said, hopefully it helps somebody. And we just wanted to share the updates, share the progress, what we're doing each day. Everybody's doing great. The kids are sleeping in bed. It's late. We like to work late for some reason. So we hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll be back soon with another one. So until next time, take care.
Bye.